Hello, all, and welcome to a little bonus episode of You Make It Happen. As a reminder, if you haven't seen the social media posts, the podcast will be on a little break for the week of Thanksgiving, the week of Christmas, and the week of New Year's, which is the week following Christmas. So I made a little social media post about this, but if you don't follow the podcast on social media, the post is essentially about how I take a little bit of time off for the holidays for my mental health. And honestly, what kind of example would I be setting for y'all if I didn't take care of myself? So it's not that I can't, put pre-programmed episodes to launch during the holidays, but everyone's kind of busy during the holidays. Everyone usually takes time for themselves, their family, whatever, during the holidays. I have no immediate family. So one of the things that I do during the holidays, or try to do, is find reasonably priced airfare to see the chosen family I have and the family from when I was a little girl, the au pair that raised me, to go see her in Sweden. Just a reminder from previous episodes, she is the reason that I am not borderline or psychopathic, any of the above. And I'm so grateful that she's still in my life and lets me come visit her in Sweden, because how cool is that? Before we get too far down the rabbit hole into the bonus episode, I just wanted to say thank you to those who have rated and reviewed the podcast. Thank you to those who have shared it. It is such a wonderful compliment when you rate the podcast 5 stars, and it's even bigger compliment when you send it to somebody you think would benefit from it, enjoy it, just listen to it to give you their perspective or their frame of reference or their experience or their thoughts on it. Like, hey, I listened to this and I want to hear what you think, that kind of thing. Send it to whoever you can think of, because that is the biggest compliment you can give me. Thank you. And if you haven't already, don't forget to rate and review on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow me on YouTube. I'm Missy the Traveler. I'm Missy the Traveler on Instagram and Missy.Traveler on TikTok. All right, let's get into it. So today's little bonus episode is going to be on the feels, also known as the butterflies, also known as chemistry, also known as the spark. You know, that feeling that you get inside your body when it's kind of tingly sometimes, and sometimes it's just that all over excitement, and it's that intrigue, the unknown, that spark, some people call it. Those feelings you get when you meet somebody new. If you're single or if you're polyamorous and dating or whatever, you meet someone and you have a connection with them, or you feel a connection, or you feel that chemistry. It's often called the chemistry or the spark. Some people call it the feels. Call it whatever you want. In fact, tell me what you call it. Hit me up on social media and tell me what you call it. So for the longest time, I always thought that this was necessary for a relationship to thrive, right? You have to have that chemistry. You have to have that attraction. And yes, you do need to have an attraction for a relationship, or for whatever sort of relationship you want, whether it's friends with benefits, whether it's friends, whether it's a dating relationship, a serious committed relationship, a monogamous, polyamorous, you name it, right? You have to have some sort of connection with that person. And I feel like, and this is my opinion, but from a lot of the materials I've seen on social media, it seems to go along with the mainstream thought on this, which is the chemistry is necessary. The spark is necessary. Those feels are required if you want to have something that's worthwhile or magical or the right fit or whatever. And for the longest time, I thought that was true, because, we don't know what we don't know, right? When you know better, you do better. Wasn't that Maya Angelou? I said that in another episode. I think that was Maya Angelou. Spoiler alert, it's not. I'm going to burst your bubble right here. And it's not just me. It's not just my opinion. This is the data. This is the science. This is the neuroscience behind this. The chemistry, the spark, those feels, that excitement, that is your nervous system reacting to the other person. And it's generally on a subconscious level. And unfortunately, the news that comes with this is it is a bad thing. When you get one person called them trauma tremors, which I kind of like, because that is exactly where those feels, chemistry, spark, excitement, attraction, where that comes from is from your childhood trauma. That is your childhood parent dynamic subconsciously playing out. Your subconscious is attracted to this person because there is something exciting, familiar about them. So imagine, if you will, if you've dated a lot of narcissists, or if you've dated a lot of abusive partners, or if you have dated or been married to any of the above, right? Doesn't just have to be abusive or narcissistic. Let's say you've dated somebody with antisocial personality disorder numerous times, like several somebodies, and that's your type. But you don't want that to be your type because you know that's not healthy and you don't want this for yourself. It's not your fault. Your subconscious is attracted to people with this personality type because of your caregiver-child dynamic. I said parent earlier, and that's somewhat narrow in scope because we don't all necessarily have a parent, but maybe somebody who is a parent figure, whoever your caregiver was. Your caregiver-child dynamic is going to play out over and over and over and over again in your adult dating relationships or romantic relationships until, you guessed it, until you do the work. Until you do the work on yourself to heal these toxic or abusive or just negative relationship patterns, you're going to see this, or maybe not see it, as a lot of us don't see it, play out over and over and over again. Because I know I sure as heck didn't see it. I did not see, like, I could even see that I was anxiously attached. A couple years back, let's take 2020, 2021, I could see, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'm anxiously attached after I learned about attachment styles and took the test and, well, as long as I was honest with the test, let's be clear about that. But I could see and acknowledge that I was anxiously attached. What I didn't see and what I didn't understand was that I was playing out the parent-child dynamic in all of my romantic relationships. It was anxious avoidant, and it was the anxious avoidant trap. And I was doing this dance with men who were emotionally unavailable. Also, just a little side note, a little ADD rabbit hole for you. Anytime I've seen emotionally available on a dating profile, they haven't been. Just 100% of the time, so far, I'm fingers crossed, hoping, but so far, every time I've seen emotionally available or some variance of that on a man's dating profile, he has not been. It's usually when they're advertising that they're secure, when they're advertising that they're emotionally available. It's kind of like when they advertise they have other assets that are appealing, and then they're not as appealing as they might have thought to have been. You know what I'm talking about. I know you know what I'm talking about. It goes along the same lines, right? If you're boasting about it, if you're advertising it, if you're talking about it, how authentic can that be? Because it's that person's perspective. So let's say they're a little bit biased. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say that the person advertising their own personality traits is a little bit biased. Yeah. So just a word of caution as far as dating apps go. Anytime I see somebody advertising that they're emotionally available, I'm like, oh, no, you're not. You haven't done the work. Or maybe you're doing the work and you want to be emotionally available, but the chances are that's not. It's like what Susie says to Sally says more about herself. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have heard some variation of that. Like basically what you're telling another person, oh, she's a backstabber and she's manipulative and she's this and she's dramatic and blah, 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 blah. And meanwhile, you're telling this person about another person, like you're gossiping, you're triangulating, you're spreading possibly false information. You're maybe slandering this person. I mean, it goes to show you that that's the source. Look at the source. Like that person, there's such thing as mirroring. Mirror neurons are a whole other thing. We'll get into that in another episode. I'm going to try to keep this short since it's a bonus. But, let's come back around to the spark, the feels, the chemistry. That, oh, but I want to be so attracted to this person. If your central nervous system is attracted to somebody and you get that instant chemistry, run. That is a bad sign. Safe and healthy and secure is boring. And it just feels boring, but give it a shot. Okay, and I did have this question to clarify. Okay, but what if I have zero attraction to this person? Okay, I'm not telling you to force an attraction. If you have no sexual attraction to this person that you're looking at dating and you've been on 1 or 2 dates and you think, no, I would never want to sleep with them, I'd never want to kiss them, whatever. Okay, then move on. Like if you've hung out with them a couple of times, give it more than once to see if you can, like, if there's more of an attraction there. But if that isn't doing it and you're after the second date or second time hanging out or whatever, and you're like, yeah, I have zero sexual attraction to this person. Okay, then move on. Absolutely. Not trying to force an attraction. There should be a basic level of attraction. It should be somebody you could see yourself being with, potentially long term. Just to be clear, there is a big difference between I find this person base level attractive and the chemistry, the spark. But just remember that boring can be good. Boring equals safe. Boring equals your nervous system is happier. So ask yourself, how do I feel with this person? It's another thing Sabrina preaches on her podcast. How do you feel with this person? Do you feel seen? Do you feel heard? Do you feel understood? Do you feel safe? Do you feel safe to be emotionally vulnerable and express your feelings? And it's hard to tell that after one date. That's why I usually like to give it at least 2. And if you still don't feel any attraction to this person, you're like, oh, I would never want to kiss them. Well, then, okay, call it a day, move on and say, hey, I just don't think it's a good fit. Be respectful. Don't ghost, because that's psychological abuse. Move on, and hopefully they do the same. But full circle, back to the big picture. I can't say this enough. The spark, the chemistry, that attraction, that subconscious attraction is your nervous system reacting to that person who is likely replaying that parent-child, caregiver-child dynamic. Run. That is unhealthy. And the people that are looking for that, here's the catch to this. Well, I guess not really catch, but you can interpret it how you will. The people that are looking for that have not done enough work, or just haven't learned that that's unhealthy. Like, because I used to be one of them. And baby, let me tell you, I had not done enough work at that point. Not by a damn slight. I had not done nearly enough work at the point where I was looking for the chemistry, looking for the feels, looking for that, because I was looking to relive that. And I was looking to relive it subconsciously. Like, I wish somebody had explained it to me, and I'm like, oh, that's bad. I need to work on this. And then talk to my therapist about it, or talk to a professional, talk to a friend, talk to group therapy, which is also great. But if that person that you're interested in dating is saying they're looking for the chemistry and they feel it with you, run away. Tell them politely, no, thank you. Don't literally run away. Hey, this isn't going to work for me. I'm looking for something healthier. Like, I'm looking for this, and let them know that that's not a healthy sign if you feel like they're receptive to hearing it. And let's hope that they're emotionally mature enough to be receptive to hearing it. There's a difference between being emotionally available and emotionally mature. So maybe they're mature enough to hear some feedback like, hey, just FYI, that's unhealthy. But I wish somebody had told me that back in my 30s or in my couple years ago for dating. Had I known that, I think I would have done things differently. Maybe I wouldn't have. Maybe I'd still mess up and replay that same dynamic. But anyway, now you know, and hopefully you're better for it. So it was a fun kind of little bonus episode, and I just wanted to remind you all of the holiday schedule. We will return to our normally scheduled programming. I just couldn't help saying that. Next week, next Thursday, the podcast comes out, normal schedule, and then the following week, normal schedule, and the week after that, normal schedule. And then those 2 weeks I have taking a break, and this week, of course. So I hope y'all have a fantastic holiday season. If you celebrate any of these holidays, then please enjoy them responsibly, safely. And if you find yourself down or upset or frustrated or struggling during the holidays, you are not alone. You are not alone. Reach out. Reach out for help. Reach out to friends. Reach out to support. Reach out to me. Heck, I answer as many supportive inquiries, questions, just even general questions. I just don't answer hate mail, but I answer just about anything else as much as I possibly can. So reach out to me and I will talk to you. I am Missy.Traveler on TikTok, Missy the Traveler on Instagram. You Make It Happen Podcast on Facebook. You Make It Happen Podcast at Gmail, and Missy the Traveler on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube, because I guess that's a cool way for me to build a fan base. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know much about YouTube. I'm learning. But just know that you are not alone. There's a lot of people struggling during the holidays. A lot. And I am here with you. I'm working on my stuff. I'm trying not to work it out on anybody else. And as a reminder, that's the motto here. Work your stuff out, not on other people. And we'll see you next time.